Well, hello and welcome to the GMODISM channel with your host Eric. Today we're going to look through on how to make ship bows, well, a lot of you think it's really challenging to make ship bows, and our lieutenant in the army of GMODISM, Flowers Dagon, did have some simple tips on how he likes to do the bows, and I have some further tips then also that you can do. So we're gonna build some pretty simple bows, because a lot of people are building bows in a really like simple way. So kind of just like take slopes like this, slap on a symmetry plane, that's M key by the way, and then you'll just backspace to place them anywhere like that, and just build a big old wedge like this, and that kind of makes this really simple shape that isn't like very interesting. So what you can do then instead, like our lieutenant likes to do, is you can use the offsets. And using the offsets, you can create a shape that is wedgy in multiple directions, kind of like this. So you got a kind of tapered wedge like this, and that's kind of how you make a really simple bow. And to make the front of the wedge here, the front of the shape, there is the wedge blocks, and they obviously won't fit. So you have to use these wedge backs like this. You see spawn them like that. Wedge back here, 1 meter like that, to fill in the fronts like this. So that's kind of a simple way to make a bow. And if you want to taper this shape off a little bit, you can obviously just add like that, and see, we can have one, so we can have like a little bit of space here like that. And if we want to taper it more, we can do one after further while, like a few blocks more like that, and then we can continue back the shape like this. So we have a very simple bow type shape. So this type of bow is what our lieutenant Flowers Dagon likes to do, but I have some further tips then to make it a little bit more varied and a little bit more interesting, also dependent on what different building styles you have. So building on a new little thing here, I'm just going to remove that. And when you are building here, to get the kind of round-ish shape of your bow, if you don't do the super tapered version, but you do want to have a straight parts of the bow, what you can do is you can take the 1 meter wedge here. So we can just begin with adding 4 meters of this. And the 1 meter wedge, it goes together with the 2 meter slope, actually. So Alt and N, you can spawn a symmetry plane in the middle, and backspace you can build anywhere. So you can see this is the same angle, if you didn't know that. And now that we have this angle, we can continue with the 4 meter, because this is like, this isn't 4 meters, but it is ish 3 meters. So we can have a 4 meter here, or maybe even a 3 meter section like this. And then we can add a 4 meter section like this. And then we can add a straight line here. So this would provide a pretty smooth, pretty pointed, pretty standard boat like shape like this. And that's really simple. And if you want to make it very long and very tapered, as said, you can add sections like this, right, with some straight portions like that. without using the mimicry. So to make this a little bit smooth down here, you can go in here. You can see we have a tab that's called transitions, and inside the transitions we have some different blocks like that. And that's of course, so now we have the 2 meter transition. So here we have the 2 meter slope, right? That means you need a 2 meter transition. And here we have a 3 meter slope, okay? So that means we need a 3 meter transition. And here we have a 4 meter slope. So that means we'll need a 4 meter transition. So that's kind of the simple tactics you can use to get started and get into this. And to continue this shape backwards, you'll just click R to select the block in front of you. Go here, R on this, R on that. And you can continue building this backwards like this. So you can kind of get a pretty nice and simple bow shape. And to close off the middle area here, you'll just add these, the wedge back 1 meter, and then the wedge front 1 meter. You get a pretty smooth shape. And from the depth, it's actually pretty beneficial to have flat bottom holes. So yeah, you don't need to make it pointy below here. You can if you want to, but the simplest way is to just add like 1 meter of taper off to the bottom here. So here we can see, here you can see we have a 4 meter offset. That means that we can use the triangle corner 4 meter. And thus here we have the 3 meter offset, the 3 meter triangle corner. So we can add like that, and the inverted ones there. To fill up this space, we need the wedge back 2 meter. And then the 1 meter in front of it. And then we could just close off and make a flat bottom hull here. And it will look pretty nice. Well, in my opinion. So, if you want to feel a little bit different when you're building, like here for our Commander Delphin, we're building a different type of bow, you can see here. So this you can dive into a little bit later. There are a lot of transition shapes that you can use to make it go together like this without using mimics. And that's cool and all, but don't feel like you can't get into this. Just make something simple in the beginning to kind of get started and get used to the shapes. Like, this is a lot of shapes and it's hard to memorize them all from the get-go. So I recommend you get started with something not too hard. And if you want to make that plow like thing like I did there for our commander, we're basically doing the same thing but inverse. So we can begin with a 4 meter wedge like this. And then we can go with 2 meter slopes directly. And we can fill in then on 1 meter here. So here's the trick. We want to be approximately similar sizes of the sections. So this one is a little bit too pointed. That's why it looks a little bit unbalanced. So what we do is we instead take a 2 meter wedge in the front. And the 2 meter wedge, you can imagine, actually goes together the same angle as the 4 meter slope, by the way. But here we can have approximately 2 meters, a little bit more. And this is a little bit more than 2 meters, yes, but it's close enough. So each of these sections have the approximate same length, which makes it looks a lot more symmetrical. We could even have some straight layers like that. I usually don't, but you can. Or just build backwards like this, and we get this characteristic 40k plow shape like this. I really like it. I use it a lot at a lot of my builds. You've probably seen that, but that's basically how to make that. Yeah, but we are going to look at a little special case, because there is a little extra trick I want to show you if you want to go just 1% more advanced. There we go. Here, to make a little bit more advanced shape, if you want a tapered wedge back like this, what you can do here is, you can see it's pretty simple. We have 3 meter offset here. So we have 2 3-meter offsets. Then we have 3 of a 4-meter offsets. So 2 3-meter offsets and 3 4-meter offsets like this. And we go, this shape just goes together like I showed you before, but in this case I used the triangle corners like this. I can actually color them a little bit here in gold so you can see them more clearly. Here we have like that, and we have the inverted ones as well inside of there. So this is kind of the shape we are making to be able to make it meet like this. So we make a traditional boat hull. Not optimal for from the depth, to be honest. It's not optimal, but just for the looks. And of course, here you can see we have a slight offset, right? And this is to make the taper a little bit longer. And if we make a slight offset like this, we use a square corner for them to meet, yeah? So you can see like that. And we need like a square corner here to make this shape and this shape meet. So that's kind of the little trick. And it looks pretty okay, I think. Because as you can see here, when we fill out the shape like this, we can make it meet and work pretty darn okay, even though we had this little bulge out like this. And we can do this in other directions too. We can continue this like this method. Let me show you. And then, ta-da, we can add this. We can add that. So if we continue this shape like this, then I'm just quickly going to add in like that. And fill. And then if we want to have one more taper layer, let's say we want a taper layer here, then we'll just build down like that until we reach this spot. That won't work. So here we use instead the square corner. Ta-da! We lock it into place like that. When we do smooth tapers like this, obviously there is no reason to use the other ones, like the other transitions, the offsets. So like technically you could use the same method with the 2 meter offset, but why? Because using this taper off is just to make even smoother shapes than even like slower shapes than the 4 meter offset. Which, by the way, is the most health point boosted block in the game. So here we can see we could do it with other ones, but it doesn't make any sense because we want to slow the taper off, right? By the way, the 4 meter offset, it is 5 meters long, not 4, which means it has a 25% bonus of armor. So some people make armor only out of the 4 meter offsets to be min-maxing. But yeah, this is a little tip for you. This is a little expanded, nice shape like this. And if you are the type of person that likes bulbous bows a lot, well, you gotta learn the transitions a lot faster than the other ones of you. But I think we'll just begin with this. Keep it a little bit simple so you can get started making nice looking bows. The important thing is to not make it too hard in the beginning, just so you can kind of learn and get used to the game and get used to the blocks. Yeah, so I really hope that those little quick tips of building bows was really helpful for you. And if it was, you should definitely leave a like, and do check out the Relaxism and the GMODISM channel there too for some relaxing and some extra from the depth content respectively. And I just want to say big thanks to all the commissioned officers in the army of GMODISM, Admiral Dragon X62, our commanders Ben Wilkie and Delphin, Lieutenants Ali Anto Cravey, Flars Dagon, and thank you for this little idea of making this video, and sorry for me to taking so long time. But anyways, Lieutenant Daniel Saikin, Owen, Parba Greed, Vincent Veritas, Volkite, Rick Pearl, and Scuba Rocks, and of course, big thanks to our Chancellor, Super Dave, in the government of GMODISM. This is your host Eric, and we are signing out until next time.